Hello everyone, welcome back to Believers Science Academy Bengaluru. This is the daily news analysis. In today's session, we will discuss some of the important articles from UPSC prelims, mains, and interview perspective. So, the first article for 27th September 2025, that is the Saturday, is about firecrackers and the Supreme Court. Supreme Court said complete ban on firecrackers doesn't work. It needs a balanced approach. So we'll discuss what is the case history and why is it significant. Supreme Court of India, in a shift from its earlier stance, has held that a complete ban on firecrackers isn't going to work or is impractical and instead called for a balanced approach that safeguards both livelihood rights and the right to clean air. Livelihood rights of whom? Livelihood rights of cracker makers or cracker manufacturers, and right to clean air of common citizens. So there is a balance to be made between both of them. Next, context and the previous orders. In April 2025, Supreme Court called for a permanent all-pervasive ban on firecrackers in Delhi NCR region to protect citizens' right to clean air, because Delhi was one of the worst affected city in terms of pollution. Okay, and the rationale was that partial and seasonal bans were ineffective since crackers could be stockpiled and misused during the peak periods. Critics argued that pollution affects the poor and vulnerable the most and not just the urban elite. Next, court's observation in the current case is that a total ban encourages illegal trade. Okay, so if you ban it completely, they are not going to stop manufacturing. They will manufacture and they will sell in underground or in illegal trades, which beats the complete purpose itself, allowing mafia groups to capture the market as seen earlier in the Bihar's mining ban. When the mining was banned in Bihar, it became a mafia. Instead of legal mining, the illegal mining started happening. What happened? The state lost its exchequer and even it led to gangs of Bihars. Okay, then thousands of workers depend on the firecracker industry for livelihood. So a totalitarian approach is unfeasible in this case. So the both right to livelihood and right to clean air of the citizens and the manufacturers and clean environment should coexist in the policy making. So now Supreme Court has given certain directions to the government. Directions are: Environment Ministry has been tasked with finding a balanced solution after consulting all the stakeholders, including the manufacturers and sellers and citizenry. A uniform national policy on manufacture, sale, and use of firecrackers may be needed instead of city-specific bans like Delhi. And also on green crackers, that court allowed manufacturers certified by NEERI and PESO to continue producing green crackers subject to undertaking that they will not sell in prohibited areas. Okay, it reiterated the need for scientific improvement of green crackers to ensure environment safety. Though they are named green crackers, they are not completely environmental friendly. So court has partially allowed it to be sold, but only in the areas which is not prohibited. But also court called for improved scientific improvements. Okay, so that it is completely environment friendly. And impacts of stakeholders. The industry concerns are: manufacturers argue that their licenses, which are valid till 2028 cases, are being revoked due to the April 2025 ban. And public health, clean air remains fundamental right, especially to daily wage earners and construction workers who are exposed to toxic pollution. And the policy challenge: balancing employment, tradition, and public health requires systematic regulation rather than blanket bans. So this is how the court judgments can be overturned by the court itself because of various factors. In this case, rights of two sections. One is manufacturers and the citizens. Okay, so complete ban on anything will most of the times be reversed. Same in the case of cryptocurrency as well. Court initially said complete ban on cryptocurrency in India without knowing the significance of crypto or blockchain technology in India. So sometimes court, without the judiciary, without the expertise in a particular field, tries to be overarching. As a result, it results in some sort of misunderstanding, some sort of loss to exchequer, and also some sort of conflict between the government and the court. Same case with banning alcohol on the highways, banning alcohol on the all highways. All these things, these are reactionary by the court, you can say. Anyways, next moving on to the second article. Very important article which is in news recently, that is Karnataka High Court's ruling on Sahyog portal. We'll see what is this. Karnataka High Court upheld the legality of Sahyog portal, rejecting social media platform access plea. The court called Sahyog an instrument of public good, reaffirming India's sovereign right to regulate social media platforms. So we'll see what is this. What is Sahyog portal? It was launched in October 2024 by the Union Home Ministry, maintained by Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, that is I4C. And what is the purpose? It is a centralized channel for issuing content takedown notices to intermediaries, connecting state police, central agencies, and platforms. So who are the intermediaries? Intermediaries are X.com, or previously known as Twitter, or Instagram, or YouTube, or Facebook. All the social medias are intermediaries. Okay. So here the notice will be sent to all the social mediaries or intermediaries by whom? By the Sahyog portal. And this Sahyog portal has confluence of state police, central agencies, and platforms as well. And the legal basis is section 17 and 3 B of IT Act 2000. Intermediaries lose safe harbor if they fail to comply with the takedown notices. So that is what happened in the case of X.com. Operational data. By April 2025, 65 intermediaries are on board, 130 notices issued to major platforms like Google, YouTube, Microsoft, etc. So now in this case, what is the X Corporation's challenge? It argued that Sahyog creates parallel censorship regime, bypassing the safeguards under Section 16A of IT Act. Section 16A of IT Act. A claimed violation of Shreya Singhal judgment, which required court or government orders with reasoning and transparency to take down any kind of content on social media. It warned of arbitrary censorship by the state police and the government because of Sahyog portals notices to take down the content. Supported by DigiPub, a collective of 92 digital platformers or publishers, citing threat to media freedom or right to freedom of speech and expression itself. And the government's defense in this case was that there was a need for regulation because social media amplifies harmful content rapidly because of the scale at which it works, because of the scale at which it publishes the content. Safe harbor is not absolute, that platforms must act responsibly as well. Failure leads to liability. Just because you are an intermediary doesn't mean you can escape all the responsibilities. It is your responsibility to take down any content which is promoting hate speech, which is promoting communal disharmony, which is promoting misogyny. All these kind of issues has to be taken care by intermediaries itself. Okay, so intermediaries, if they are allowing repeated circulation of hate speech, these etc., they are bound to be liable. They are liable to be held accountable as well. Next, independent provisions. That is, Section 17 and 3B provides safe harbor laws, and Section 16A provides blocking powers, and are very distinct from what the case is arguing here, what the X.com is arguing here. So they say that as IT Act provides you some sort of a Shreya Singhal case provides you some sort of protection, it is also provided in IT Act as well. The protection for the government officials to take down any kind of contents which is promoting hate speech or any other things. Efficiency, that Sahyog ensures swift, transparent content removal, and foreign entity argument, that is X as a non-Indian company owned by Elon Musk cannot claim Article 19 as constitutional right because Article 19 is not available for foreign citizens. It is available for only citizens. Next, High Court's ruling. 3 red lines for social media. The court said that social media cannot remain completely unregulated. Platforms must comply with Indian law, and old precedents like Shreya Singhal cannot govern new IT rules of 2021. Very important. I am sure this case will be taken up by Supreme Court again. Either by suo moto or the X.com can go with a plea to Supreme Court. On regulation. Essential to protect dignity, especially against offences targeting women and regulation is a global norm. Next, on the law of the land, that platforms must respect law of the land. In this case, the Indian law. Liberty must align with responsibility. Just because you are provided the freedom of speech and expression doesn't mean it is absolute. It is provided with certain reasonable responsibility. That is, liberty must align with responsibility. On the Shreya Singhal case, it applied only to old IT rules of 2011 and the new rules require fresh interpretation. And on the Article 19, rights apply only to Indian citizens and not the foreign corporations or foreign entities like X.com. And what is the implications of this judgment? For intermediaries, non-compliance with Sahyog notices can remove safe harbor, exposing platform to liability, which can lead to ban of the intermediaries altogether. And for governance, strengthens India's push for platform accountability in digital regulation. And for cybersecurity, enhances response to cybercrime, misinformation, and harmful online content as well. And for constitutional balance, reasserts India's sovereign regulatory authority while balancing free speech with reasonable restrictions. Okay. Next, third article talks about women's unpaid care work, calls for a better data. Okay. So unpaid care work is invisible backbone of the economies. It remains undervalued and excluded from the GDP. In India, women disproportionately shoulder this burden, restricting their access to education, skills, jobs, or paid employment. So, what is the extent of this problem? In the global level, women spend 3 times more hours than men on unpaid care work. What is unpaid care work? That is taking care of children, taking care of their husband, taking care of the elders in the house. These are unpaid care work. Next, why it is called as unpaid care work? Because there are two types of care work. One is paid. For example, a nurse in a hospital taking care of its patient, though it is a care work, it is paid. Okay, by nurses. Okay, whereas a housewife taking care of its house and children's is unpaid. So that is why it is explicitly called as unpaid care work, whereas those are called as paid care works. In India, women spend 4.5 hours per day on the unpaid care work, whereas men spend only 1.5 hours per day, according to the TUS report of 2019. Activities which include unpaid care work are cooking, cleaning, caregiving, water collection, and community services. All are putting an extra burden on the women. Effect: undervalues women's contributions and fuels low female labor rate participation rate. Low female labor force participation rate, which is only 23% in 2022 and 2023, which is among the world's lowest among the female labor force participation. Impact on the labor force participation. That is, disproportionate unpaid care burden limits women's ability to join paid employment. Lack of child care, elderly care, and flexible work structures worsen gender inequality. And the contrast is in China, that is 61%, and Bangladesh with 38% show a far higher female labor force participation rate, 61% compared to 22%. 38% compared to 21%, almost double and triple in China and Bangladesh. Limitations of the time use survey. However, the article also argues about limitations of the TUS survey, that is the time use survey of 2011. So it was conducted in 1998 and 1999 and 2009 by NSSO, captures hours spent on activities but misses certain crucial aspects. That is, choice versus compulsion. That is unpaid care voluntary or forced by norms or economies? Whether it is voluntarily taken by the family, voluntarily taken up by the female, or whether it is forced upon her by society, economies, and all the customs. Quality of work. How does it affect health, aspirations, and employability? For example, women, women in rural areas are burdened with many things. One is such as cooking, where the cooking is done not by the gas or LPG, it is done by firewood. It is done by firewood, which adds or results in internal pollution or indoor pollution, which is the worst form of pollution, which reduces the life size by a significant period of time. And second is water collection. water collection. In rural areas, especially in the dry or semi-arid regions, women have to travel for more than 5 to 6 kilometers just to fetch water to drink. Okay, so obviously this is also having implications on health as well. Next, policy integration. How can findings from child care schemes and flexible jobs and social security can be integrated into policies? Next, expert recommendations. The experts recommends a refined methodology, that is add qualitative questions on duty as well as choice. Next, capture generational differences in perception of unpaid labor. So previously, like in the time of your mother or mom or grandmother, this was accepted, boldly or broadly accepted, because they considered all the houseworks as work of housewife, all the household works and etc., the care work was work of housewife, and the work of men was to go out and like earn the livelihood. But now the perception has changed. The women are also equally capable, women are also equally skilled. They want to go out and earn as well, but along with earning outside, they are burdened with this care work as well. So they are burdened with this dual role, okay, dual responsibilities. Okay, so we have to capture the generational differences in perception of unpaid labor as well, and integration with labor data. Link times use survey with the PLFS to study care work employment relationship and the policy use of data. Inform and strengthen schemes like Pradhan Mantri Matru Vandana Yojana, Anganwadi services, and workforce flexibility. Recognition in GDP, that is, develop satellite accounts or alternative frameworks to value unpaid care work. So, a very important article which discusses about the significance of women. Next, another editorial from today's newspaper, which is talking about the turmoil in Kathmandu and the road ahead for Nepal. We all know about Nepal's Gen Z revolution, which was like a fire, with the fire which spread to whole of Nepal and resulted in the fall of government in just 3 to 4 days. So now the government is fallen and the new government or caretaking government is there. So the other argues for new of the roadmap ahead in for Nepal. So background is in September 8, 2025, youth-led protest, that is Gen Z protest, erupted in Kathmandu. Trigger was the frustration with corruption, unemployment, and political stagnation, and the ban on social media, and the police war reaction, that is public anger, and which led to PM KP Sharma Oli's resignation on September 9. After army chief consultations, former Chief Justice Sushila Karki became the interim Prime Minister on September 12, tasked with holding fresh elections on March 5, 2026. So she will be caretaking Prime Minister till the March 5. So the author discusses about Nepal in the regional context. That is, South Asia has seen youth-led protests or uprising or political upheavals recently. First, in Myanmar 2021, that democracy collapsed under military. In Afghanistan 2021, Taliban's return. And in Bangladesh 2023, first Sri Lanka in 2022, Aragalya forced Gotabaya Rajapaksa out. So because of the economic turmoil which Sri Lanka used to face. And Pakistan 2023, Imran Khan's arrest led to protest and military intervened. And in Bangladesh 2024, protest toppled the Sheikh Hasina government itself. So common factor in all this South Asian context is youth unemployment, that is almost 16 to 20%, corruption and anger against entrenched elites, and also the corruption. Next, okay, Nepal's political journey. So this is not the new thing for Nepal, that the government opting out or government being overhauled is not a new thing to Nepal. In 1990 Jana Andolan in Nepal, okay, in 1990 Jana Andolan, it led to end of panchayat and start of multi-party democracy. In 1996 to 2006, Maoist insurgency, where Nepal government or Nepal country saw 17,000 deaths. And in 2006, Jan Andolan 2, that is King Gyanendra was forced to restore parliament. And in 2008, monarchy was abolished and Nepal was declared as a republic. In 2015 constitution, Nepal was declared a federal republic, but frequent government changes, that is 7 in 10 years, Oli, Prachanda and Deoba rotating in within 10 years. Then result was chronic instability, entrenched corruption despite the democratic framework. And people started realizing monarchy was better than this particular democracy. The current transition. Interim PM Sushila Karki's priorities. One is conducting free and fair elections in the March 2026, accountability for police excesses and protest violence, and corruption crackdown on the political elites. This is where the protest started. And challenges are political gangs, infiltrated protest, and Nepal's justice system lacks faster capacity, and old parties resist leadership change, and new youth-led parties lack organization. So she has to bring balance between the old leadership as well as new youth-led parties, and risk of pro-monarchy revival in chaos. So if you see social media, many of the youths were like demanding for revival of monarchy, demanding that monarchy was better than the current republic or monarchy was better than the current uh, democracy. So they wanted revival of monarchy. So she has to take care that the risk of pro monarchy doesn't result in going back a step further. Okay. Next, constitutional debate. That is, some argue that Nepal's mixed system, that is first post the past system and preferential, uh, okay, prevents stable majority governments. Proposals is directly elected executive, a rollback of federalism, and the risks are it could anger Madhesis, Janjati, and Tharo communities and spark fresh unrest. These are some of the minority communities which are present in Nepal, and they are always demanding for the recognition for them or a new land of Madhesh land, etc., etc. So they have to take care of these persons as well. Next, India's position. That is, India has kept a low profile, avoiding criticism in Nepal media. PM Modi's call to MS Karki or Miss Karki on September 18 struck a supportive, non-interfering tone. This is a good move on the side of India, because what happened in Bangladesh when Sheikh Hasina fled, she was given asylum in India, which led to anti-India sentiments which are already present in Bangladesh, and it aggravated anti-India sentiments in Bangladesh, which India understood and did not interfere in this particular case. Road ahead is, in the best case, peaceful elections in March 2024, new political forces, accountability, and youth-driven reforms. And in the worst case, power grabs, constitutional tinkering, or army overreach, which lead to instability, mistrust, and risk to democratic gains, and also risk to whole of South Asia. So let us hope that the Nepal is going to go through the best case and new elections will be held in March 2026. Next, 2019 center initially agreed to Ladakh's tribal status, later backtracked. So what happened here? After Ladakh was carved out as union territory in August 2019, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes considered demands for the inclusion of Ladakh in 6th schedule of the constitution. But now they have gone back on it. So that is the demand. That is the whole demand, that statehood and inclusion in 6th schedule. Next, in a meeting on September 11, 2019, the NCST formally recommended a Ladakh's inclusion in 6th schedule. And the ministry's position, prior to this, on September 4, 2019, NCST has consulted three ministries: Home, Tribal Affairs, and Law and Justice. All the ministries reportedly said no objection if Ladakh was granted tribal area status under 6th schedule. The rationale was 6th schedule protections would safeguard Ladakhis agrarian rights and land ownership, which restricted outsiders from acquiring land. And the Home Minister's parliamentary statement in December 2019 was, government argued that Ladakh Autonomous Hill Development Council Act 1997 already granted powers similar to 6th schedule. So they started track backing from August 2019 to December 2019. Suggested that no further constitutional changes were necessary. Why? Because government feared the Ponderabacks. Government feared the Ponderabacks demands. If it is provided to uh, Ladakh, obviously there will be demand from Manipur. Obviously there will be demand from Sikkim. Obviously there will be demand from all the other tribal regions such as Odisha, such as Chhattisgarh. So they want to avoid this. Political angle, that is BJP manifesto in 2020, Leh Hill Council post promised constitutional safeguards for Ladakh under 6th schedule, but the campaigns were not met. However, this pledge was never fulfilled, and the shift in the stand in 2022. In December 2022, the parliamentary panel asked about 6th schedule status, and the Home Ministry rejected this idea, saying the purpose of 6th and 5th schedule is tribal socio-economic development. Ladakh Union Administration was already ensuring development with a sufficient fund from the center. So there is no need for inclusion in fifth or sixth schedule. So why does it matter now? So issue is up all the way back from 2010. It is almost 2025, 6 years have passed down. Why are we discussing now? Because there is a fire. There is a so-called Gen Z protest in Ladakh. So 2019 concurrence by three ministries plus NCST shows that center had initially agreed to in principle to Ladakh's stable status. Later reversals have fueled resentment in Ladakh, where locals demand statehood plus six scheduled safeguards to protect land, culture, and resources. The issue is central to ongoing Ladakh agitation, and also recently Sonam Wangchuk, the leader of this particular movement, has been arrested by central government under NSA, National Security Act. Okay, so that is about main pointers, and now the prelims pointers. National AI Olympiad. So National AI Olympiad, the first of its kind, has been launched by Talent Sprint, which is a part of Accenture company. It is India's first nationwide initiatives to benchmark AI readiness across school students, college learners, and professionals. Very important. It also talks about AI readiness gaps in India. NEP 2020 and the National AI Mission emphasize AI literacy, coding, and reskilling. At bottlenecks remain in India. That is, teachers lack expertise to teach AI effectively. Higher education has limited integration of structured AI norms or courses. Industry faces severe AI talent shortage, over 1 million projected gap by 2027. So this AI Olympiad comes as a good solution for this one. And the structure of Olympiad, the foundation will be school students from the grades 6 to 12 for AI basics, and advanced college students to showcase career readiness, and professionals, working professionals to benchmark skills. Goes beyond exams by offering mentorship, projects, and national recognition. Significance of this move and vision is moves AI from niche subject to foundational skill, and creates a continuum of AI readiness from classroom to workplaces, aligns with national education and AI policies, bridging aspiration with progress. A very important scheme, you can say. Agni Prime. So what happened? India recently successfully test fired the Agni Prime or Agni P intermediate range ballistic missile from real based mobile launcher. Very important. This is very important. They launched it from the real based mobile launcher under the operational conditions. The canisterized system can move across India's 70,000 kilometer rail network, deploy discreetly, and launch with a minimal preparation. Okay, so not only you can carry these missiles on the lorries or on the trucks now, you can also carry them on train. Okay, with a vast network of 70,000 kilometer trail in India, it can move anywhere with on those 70,000 kilometer track and launch Agni Prem from anywhere there. And about Agni Prime, the range is about 1000 to 2000, so it is intermediate only, and the weight is 11 tons, two-stage solid fuel missiles, warheads capable of carrying conventional or nuclear payloads, and upgrades integrates advanced navigation, propulsion, but and accuracy technologies from Agni 4 and Agni 5, mobility, road, and now rail deployable, making it more survivable and unpredictable. And strategic significance. Second strike credibility enhances survivability of India's deterrent under no first use power doctrine of India, and mobility and concealment. Rail tunnel and nationwide tracks offer a stealth against satellite surveillance. Next, cost effectiveness. Cheaper and easier to scale than submarine or silo systems, and diversified arsenals. Complements road mobile, and other Agni missiles, forcing adversaries to account for multiple launch platforms, not only in the road, not only on the submarines, not on the ships or the air, but also from railways now. Next, global signal positions India alongside USA, China, Russia, and North Korea as a nations with the rail-based missile capability. So that is why this particular article becomes important for us. This news becomes important for us. Okay. So these are the important articles which I want to discuss with you today. If you like the video, then please hit the like button, comment on it, and also share with your friends. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you don't miss any notification. With this, I will end the video. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.